But I feel like that was the whole point. I meant to just be failing. Yeah. Oh man, I should have written something down. That's okay. It's whatever. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's good. That's freeing. Sure. So, here I am. Yes. I want to talk because I don't know how to talk. And the world is kind of, I don't know, a lot. The world is a lot. Which is a statement that doesn't really mean anything. So, I think I just have to know that everything that I'm saying right now is going to get. I'll never post it. I'll never post this. So, it doesn't even matter what I say. I just need to keep talking. Because the whole point is getting it out so it's not inside. Because I don't know how to talk. And that's the thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to talk. We're trying to talk. We're trying to talk. We're trying to talk. I mean, the year is 2025. I would like to acknowledge that I am living, breathing, sitting, loving on the stolen land of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation. That sovereignty was never ceded, and if this ever happens to fall on the ears of any Indigenous Australian people, I extend my respects to you as well, of course. I've never really done an acknowledgement of country, and I think that's probably not the best, but that's where we're going to try to start, because it's important, not just for Indigenous Australian people, but for everyone to acknowledge that that's a reality, because so much of reality is built upon stolen, not just land. Well, I mean, I feel like land is the primary place where everything kind of begins from, because, you know, without land, we're not just floating around, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know, like, I'm not trying to be old preachy, but it's important, because I feel like something I was thinking about yesterday, because I'm studying Indigenous Australians, Indigenous Australia, so-called Australia at the moment, and I was just thinking about how, like, decolonization, colonial practices, I was just thinking about how the British and Europeans and everyone else that came to colonize Australia was already colonized before they came. And, you know, that's why it's kind of like, oh, we're just, you know, this is uncivilized compared to our way of doing things, because our way of doing things is civilized. But the fact that trying to bring civilization to decolonized people is colonizing, is that civilization is colonized. Like, I don't know, maybe that's really obvious, but it's like, it just means that, you know, in terms of when we think about, like, sovereignty was never ceded, or always was, always will be, when we think about, like, decolonizing Australia, you know, that is important to everyone, because colonization equals, like, death, like environmental death, natural death, like consciousness death. I don't know. I can hear this ringing in the room, and that's really bugging me. So I'm not really sure how to deal with that. I think I just kind of have to pretend that it's not there. Okay. And failing. Failing is one of the things that I was like, okay, you need to just talk, because you need to just fail, because you're never going to be able to just do this naturally. And the longer that you plan about it, think about it, the more that you're just like wasting time, and essentially, because like, we're meant to fail. I'm meant to fail. I'm not going to ever get good at anything if I don't fail at something. Well, like, I'm never going to get good at the thing that I want to be good at if I don't fail at the thing first. My brother said I have to learn to fail fast so I can just get on with what it is I actually want to do. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I feel like, you know, it's like shaky. I don't know, I feel like I've watched YouTube and I've thought about it, and I'm like, because, well, like, even going back from further than that, YouTube, like, I feel like I'm first and foremost just like man, human person. But then in terms of like what I've attracted to and what I want to do, I feel like it's always kind of been like art related, like music, visual art. At the moment, I think a lot about like writing. But then, you know, who reads? And then I think, you know, in terms of like, if you have any kind of voice, and where is that going? Like, I don't want to make 10-second clips on TikTok. I don't even want to use TikTok. I don't even want to use Reels. I don't even want to use YouTube necessarily, but like, I feel like that's neither here nor there, because the whole point is just like, okay, like, I want to contribute something, or I just want to like have a place where I can just talk, and I feel like the whole point is that the whole point is just failing, and not like, I don't want to edit, because I feel like I just want to be human. That's where I was trying to get. Yeah. I want to be, because YouTube and TikTok and that is like anti-human. Technology is like anti-human. AI is anti-human. And I feel like when we're surrounded by technology and anti-humanness, which is kind of the same as colonisation, because, you know, colonisation kills humanity. And that is why it matters to acknowledge country, because it's an acknowledgement of the fact that colonisation, that is civilization, kills humanness, kills humans and kills humanness at the same time. Maybe not at the same time, I don't know. But that's it. So here I am. And yeah, wanting to highlight the fact that we are human, and that being human means failing. It means not being perfect. It means not being a machine. It means not being predictable. It means creativity and emotion and feeling and, yeah, getting things wrong, failing gloriously. And yeah, I think that's hard for me because I kind of just can't really help that I kind of just want things to be perfect. And I find it hard when what I do doesn't work out the way I want it to, or doesn't look, or doesn't read or seem as good as what I would want it to be, or what other people I see can do, or whatever. And I think a lot of people are like that, because I think that it makes sense for us to be like that, because to be like that means to care that we failed and to want to not fail in the future. And I don't know, I feel like it's good to stop and think about what you're worried about failing, you know? Like, is it your failure, or is it like, I don't know, just because, I don't know, I think I'm at uni at the moment, and I've just gotten back 2 of my marks for like assessments in the last couple of days, and my marks are like so fine and I'm happy with them, but it's like, you know, I feel like I've heard like so many like interviews of musicians or whatever, like I feel like it's such a classic thing to be like, yep, like 10 good reviews, great reviews, excellent reviews, like that's cool, but like as soon as like there's one negative review, it's like hyper focus on that. And yeah, it's like that kind of need to just like stamp out all the possibility for failure. Like, this person didn't like it, so I guess I'm just like, what's even the point? I'm just terrible at what I do. I may as well just give up. No. Because like, yeah, you can't make everyone happy. But then it's like, yeah, what are you doing it for? What are you doing it for? What am I doing uni for? To become smarter? To become smarter in the way that is useful. Really. For someone that isn't me, that I don't know, that I probably won't know for years, and then even if I do know them, meaning even if I do happen to have some sort of career, which like that's a whole other thing, but yeah, then are they going to value this thing? Are they going to care what mark I got in my first year of uni? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think it kind of sounds so trivial, but it's also not, because I feel like this is just how things are for a lot of people, I guess. I'm trying to be relatable right now, I guess. I guess that's what I'm doing. Wanting to be relatable. But also, I think you just need to I just need to let myself speak. Because I'm going to get it wrong. It's like I can feel this war between, I want to get this right. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Everyone that ever listens to me, I want them to like me. But then at the same time, I'm just like, the whole point, I'm doing this because I'm thinking about this idea of humanness and failure and how those two interlink. I saw this interview of Paul McCartney talking about the creative practice, and there's I can't remember if he said the critical or the juridical, or just the voice of judgment. You've got the voice of judgment and you've got your creative voice. And when you're trying to write a song or whatever, make anything, do anything, you've got your, when you're trying to make something creative, you just need to let your creative voice speak, because if you let your critical voice come in, then then you're just going to, the critical voice is just going to shut the creative voice down every time. So I just was thinking about that, about how I feel like right now I'm okay, I'm trying to do this open form kind of rambly, scatterbrained sort of TED talk or some shit. But then I can hear my critical voice coming in every time, I'm not being respectful enough, I might offend someone with what I'm saying, this is super trivial, this doesn't matter, Negative voice will shut you down, negativity will shut you down. That's probably the voice of civilization. No, that's not useful to us. What can I do with that? What's the point of that? It's not very profitable though, is it? Fuck that, So yeah, let the creative voice speak. If it even can. No, it's there. It's always there. And it's fun. And it's fun. But it's hard to do because, it's just going into the unknown. And the unknown is scary. And I want to stay in the known. I want to stay to where the known is. Oh, dear. It's like a dirty tap. I don't even want to explain that. So don't. Cool. Moving on. Whew. Yeah. Sorry for the silence. I feel like I was looking for something interesting to say. Oh, dear. You know what's interesting about a voice is its expressiveness. That's something that you can't get in the written word. Well, you can, based on the language you use, the words, your choices, the sentence structure, the grammar, the punctuation, italics, bold, exclamation points. All of those things are tools. It's like notation in music, though, because, you can write fortissimo or piano, but it's just symbols on a page until it's actually played. And then you actually hear what fortissimo is compared to piano. And I tried to write something for YouTube. Like, it was kind of like a diary entry like vlog. Well, that's kind of the same thing, but it was sort of like auto-fiction. Like, it was like fictionalizing my life to kind of like have this sort of like moral at the core of it, I guess. And I wrote it and like I was happy with it, but my voice, when I was trying to read it out, I just sounded like robot voice because, I didn't know how to use my voice. Because like I feel like I'm reading. When I'm talking. So I feel like the reason that this has to be this kind of open form rambling is because that's just how my brain works, but also because if I'm reading, then I lose the expressiveness of my voice. And I need that. Because my voice is expressive, but I feel like when I try to do things a certain way, then I lose my expressiveness. Which is just like the flow of the inspiration and thought coming to the fore of your consciousness. And well, no, not even that. I feel like sometimes you just bypass it because it's become sort of automated, like muscle memory. Automated sounds like a machine, but like it's coming it's just like, hey, how you going, or whatever. It's like an automatic response because you've done it so many times. It's unconscious. That's it. It's unconscious. But then because you sort of like when you're talking, you get you like form like well-worn kind of like rivers and roads where you get to a fork in the road and it's like, depending on the situation, you're going to go either way. But like once you've kind of made that decision or what you want to talk about, then the unconscious, like you sort of give yourself into unconsciousness because it's like, oh well, like I know exactly what I'm talking about, I know how to talk about this, I'm just gonna la 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 straight through, because I've had this conversation 100 times before. Because we like repeating ourselves, like telling the same stories. I was watching Prison Break with my girlfriend, and I feel like when people would ask me about it, or just like, how's it going, or blah, 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 I just like had this automated response, and now I can't even remember what it was. Just Michael Scofield tings. Just the repetitiveness of it, I guess. Anyway, that was a time. You kind of love it. Because, of course, you love it. But it's also just, like, so intense. Like, I feel like... Oh, that's not true, because... Also started watching Gilmore Girls, and that's, like... Yeah, it has that same, like, cyclical pattern. I also was watching Daria the other day with my housemate. And because I've been doing creative writing and thinking about writing short stories in medias res, that's like so postmodern to do in medias res, which basically just means not starting at the start. But I feel like you could argue that everything is in medias res, because like, what is the start? Like, where is the start? Like, you were born, like, sure, but like, things happened before you were born. Anyway, Daria does that because like, and like, it's interesting watching it sort of with that kind of more critical thing, because like in the very first line of like any TV show, especially like sitcoms and stuff, like it has to establish like what's going on straight away so that you're like instantly kind of grounded in something, unless, and if it's not doing that, it's like for a reason as well. So yeah, because like sitcoms are just short stories, but for screen. Because yeah, but like Prison Break kind of has more of an actual through line, like that it progresses. One episode follows on from the other, so you know they don't have to do that as much because you already know where they are after you've watched the first episode, or the first episode of each season or something, because they always switch it up. Yeah, but I think it's just the same with everything. Like, they start off strong because someone had a great idea and they worked really hard, or didn't work really hard to get it to the level of having a pilot, and then they got it approved with whatever company or institution, and then once they've done that, then, you know, like, they don't have any interesting creative ideas anymore, or they just like outsource it to like other writers that write for all of the other Hollywood shows, and they all kind of start becoming the same and don't really matter anymore. And what am I talking about? There's that critical voice coming in, because, you know, well, like, you never know, you got to talk a lot of Tommy Rock to get to the gold stuff. So I guess you're coming along for the ride. Am I coming along for the ride? I guess I am the ride. Oh, wow. Yeah. Critical voice intervention sparks reflection, changing track of roller coaster ride that is I. Oh dear, oh dear. When does it start? When does it end? Have I ended? I've still got a green light on my laptop, so I guess that's still recording. Yeah, I've got to scratch my face a lot, and it's going to get picked up in the microphone, so get used to that. I'm going to see if next time I can not work in a room that's going to have that ring to it. Well, I mean, now I feel like I finished, so was that good? Yeah. Just getting comfortable is hard. Yeah, just getting comfortable is hard because it's such a mental game. When I was in high school, I somehow became a house captain, and then that led me to being like having to make an announcement over the intercom at like a lunchtime one time, and which was kind of exciting because, you know, you always wonder where that voice comes from when you're at school. So, and it was like literally just like a little room, like as if like it was like just a toilet room, like a little tiny cupboard room with just like a microphone. And then I had like a little bit of a script that I had to read. But yeah, there's just something about a microphone just like staring at you. Same as like just a camera or something. Like, you're under the clock, you're under the watch, you're under the... And I just stumbled over my words and said a bunch of times, which I only know because there was this kid in my class that told me about it later, how much I said Thanks, brother. Glad you keeping an eye on me. Funny thing, I read something the other day about how education is actually just like, you get educated to become stupid, essentially, because it's just like a whole array of meaningless tasks, one after the other, that you have to do. Well, not meaningless tasks necessarily, but they're kind of like meant to be kind of like they're not all that engaging, and they're kind of pointless. Like, I feel like the classic is just like you're learning algebra and then someone puts their hand up and is like, when are we actually ever going to need this? You'll thank us when you're older or something. No, I don't think so. But what was I saying? It's meaningless, it's stupid. Yeah, but it's like on purpose, because, the most the people that actually do well are like the people that don't care that it is stupid and meaningless, because it's like, it's the destination, not the journey, or something. And then, oh my god, it's okay. Essentially, you go to school, you get used to doing like a whole bunch of like pointless tasks that fills your head with lots of information that you never really need, but like you become you're a good student when you memorize and learn all of those kind of pointless, not very necessary things for actual living, but they serve your future employers. They're employable characteristics that you develop, and that's a good thing, because if you don't get employed, then you'll, I don't know, spontaneously combust, and everyone in your family will reject you or something. As if that's what the teacher's saying or implying, which results in all of the people that have the well-paying jobs, I guess, are just not human. Hopefully you could follow along with that. Pretty trippy. Bit of tomfoolery and trickery. Yeah, they're not human, but they're machines, which is very good at going from point A to point B and taking X and turning it into Y, and then giving Y to B for them to turn Y into Z, and then, I actually prefer Z because it rhymes with the alphabet. I think in Australia, that we prefer to say Z, which always, is really strange. X, Y, J, K. I don't know how to do the alphabet unless I go for a specific spot, because, you have to memorize it in a sequence. And why does the alphabet have to have a sequence? Because alpha, beta, omega, delta, foxtrot. I don't know. Because everything has to be in alphabetical order. Also, I would like to figure this out, because I've been wondering, but days of the week, when did that start? Because I think it's really fun. Well, from doing this Indigenous Australia course, it's really fun to kind of just challenge like the most basic assumptions of today's Tuesday, so I heard like a little kid and his parents walking past, and they were like teaching him the days of the week, like, because it's just like a fact, right? That today is Tuesday. Like, it's just like the day is just screaming out to us, Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. Well, it is, but that's only for us. The world is independent of our facts. That's from a song, I want to say Epitaph, from Crack Cloud, which my friend got me into. The Red Mile. Anyway, I think I'm just going to end because I've tried to start and end multiple times and my voice is starting to get a bit sore. But I think I got there.